The story begins in 1997, in the peaceful wilderness of Washington State. We meet Kate Martin, a woman traveling with her young son Jesse to visit her parents, Jean and Bernice. Jesse is especially excited because he'll go hunting with his grandpa Gene, a trip both have long awaited. Gene, a skilled hunter, has been waiting all morning for them. As soon as Jesse and Kate arrive, Gene says they should leave quickly before it gets late. Bernice prepares food for the trip and warmly sends them off. In the quiet woods of Washington State, a family faces an impossible disappearance. Years later, a group of hikers stumbles into the same mystery: a lone staircase in the middle of nowhere, deformed creatures that hunt in silence, and a dimension where time seems frozen. What starts as an adventure becomes a nightmare not all will survive. A tale where terror hides not in what you see, but in what you can't understand. So today we'll take a look at the movie called The Stairs. Gene leads them deep into the woods, parks the truck and pulls out 2 rifles, one for him and a smaller one for Jesse. They walk a bit until Gene sets up a target to teach Jesse how to shoot. Soon a deer appears. Jesse fires and hits it, though it runs off injured. They begin tracking the wounded animal. As they walk, Jesse gets hungry and pauses to grab his sandwich. Gene, unaware Jesse stayed behind, keeps going and finds the deer. Happy at first, he turns and sees Jesse is gone. Alarmed, Gene shoots the deer but quickly focuses on finding his grandson. Meanwhile, Jesse, now alone in the woods, notices something strange hiding in the bushes, something that doesn't look human. Instead of running, Jesse offers his sandwich to the figure, but it vanishes into the trees, prompting Jesse to follow it out of curiosity, venturing deeper into the forest. Jesse stumbles upon something unusual: a lonely staircase in the middle of the forest. There are no houses or structures nearby, yet the stairs look newly built, as if someone had just placed them there. Though surrounded by wild nature, the steps appear clean, sturdy, and oddly perfect. Too perfect to be natural. Fascinated, Jesse begins to climb them. Meanwhile, Gene continues his desperate search. He finds Jesse's backpack abandoned on the ground, which increases his fear. This is a thick forest full of dangers, and Jesse is just a child. At the top of the staircase, Jesse again sees the same strange creature, but this time, more clearly. It's no ordinary animal. Terrified, Jesse turns to climb down. Seeing it up close scared him badly. At that moment, Gene hears Jesse scream and runs toward the sound. When he arrives, he sees the staircase, but Jesse is nowhere in sight. Suddenly, he hears Jesse's voice calling from behind the steps. Something was dragging him in. Gene fires his weapon, but it's no use. To save Jesse, Gene enters as well, and they both vanish. 20 years have passed since Jesse and his grandpa vanished in the forest. The story now shifts to the present, where we meet 2 brothers, Nick and Josh, preparing for a hike in the same wooded area where the strange event occurred. On the way, they stop at a small roadside store for supplies. The shop owner makes small talk but turns serious upon learning they're heading into those woods, especially during the red moon season. He warns them that many people have gone missing in that area over the years. Josh laughs it off, but Nick gets uneasy upon seeing a wall filled with missing person posters. Soon, the brothers meet the rest of their hiking group, Rebecca and Jordan, a couple waiting at the trailhead. One more person was supposed to join, but instead a 5th shows up: Doug, a laid-back guy who jokes around. No one invited him, but he's an old friend, so they let him come. With backpacks ready, the 5 of them enter the dense woods. After about 5 hours of hiking, they feel tired, especially Nick. But Rebecca insists they're not even halfway there and urges them to keep going. Before long, they pause to rest. Josh realizes Nick's bag is too heavy. He brought more supplies than needed. The group teases him a bit for it, and Josh helps him lighten the load. As they continue, they come across a small abandoned cabin deep in the woods. It looks out of place, and the girls in particular feel uneasy. They choose not to stay there and keep walking. Soon after, Rebecca stops to tie her laces and falls slightly behind. That's when she encounters a strange woman, barefoot, limping, and deeply unsettling. Rebecca notices the woman has an injured foot, but when she looks up to see her face, she's horrified. Her face is disturbing, with strange teeth and unsettling sounds that scare Rebecca so badly, she shuts her eyes tight. When she opens them again, the woman is gone. Her friends are already ahead, and Rebecca feels very frightened. Walking cautiously, she nears the same cabin again. What she sees there shocks her. The terrifying woman is already inside the cabin. Rebecca starts screaming. Hearing her, the others rush back. But in truth, Rebecca hasn't moved. What she saw was just a vision. The others try to calm her down. They assume she's exhausted and hallucinating, but something doesn't feel right. Trying to ease the tension, Doug mocks her story and walks ahead, but Nick remains uneasy, especially after the store owner's warning. Moments later, they hear Doug scream. They rush over and find his clothes scattered by a creek, but Doug is gone. Suddenly, he jumps out laughing. It was just a prank. However, things turn unpleasant when they see he's covered in leeches. Jordan burns them off with a lighter and they move on, but something in the forest is watching. And what awaits them is no joke. They continue their hike and soon hear someone shouting nearby, an angry male voice, screaming and begging. Curious and worried, they follow the sound and see a strange man standing in a clearing, talking to someone. In front of him, sitting motionless with her head down, is a woman. It's the same terrifying figure Rebecca saw earlier, with a pale face and an unnatural presence. The man repeats over and over, "I'm sorry," as if begging for forgiveness. When the group tries to help, they notice something horrifying. The man has a huge wound on his head, like part of his skull was torn off, but he's still alive. Before they can understand what's happening, the man yells at them to run. Then, the woman lifts her head and reveals a horribly deformed face. In her arms, she holds a crying baby, but it's clearly not human. Its shape is unnatural, like a worm-like creature. Driven mad by the baby's cries, the wounded man pulls out a gun and shoots himself in the head. But even that doesn't kill him right away. The group, now terrified, watches in horror as the woman remains calm, as if nothing happened. Panicked, they run, but in the chaos, Nick leaves his backpack behind. Night falls quickly. The forest feels darker, denser, and far more dangerous. The group stops to decide what to do. Nick wants to go back, but Jordan says it's too late. They'll have to spend the night in the woods. Josh tries to calm Nick, but tension is high. They've gone too far, with no cell signal, no help nearby, and now something unnatural is clearly hunting them. As night falls, the stairs is only beginning, and the group prepares to camp deep in the forest. The atmosphere is tense. They're still shaken by what they saw. The strange woman, the disfigured man, and that inhuman baby. They're scared but try to keep it together. Doug, who's been carefree all trip, decides to drink a homemade mushroom brew, a hallucinogenic mix he brought. It kicks in fast. His behavior grows odd, erratic. The others head to their tents, but Josh stays up to keep watch. While everyone sleeps, Doug falls asleep in his sleeping bag, under the mushroom spell, dreaming of being with Jordan. But the dream turns into a nightmare when he wakes up to find something dragging his bag across the ground. Dizzy and confused, he barely has time to react before a grotesque creature looms over him. It grabs him and drags him into the forest. Doug screams in pain and terror. His cries echo, waking the others. They rush from their tents only to find Doug gone. His sleeping bag is missing and they see drag marks fading into the dark. They follow the trail desperately, hoping to find him. Along the way, they find one of Doug's shoes, then his torn sleeping bag, but no sign of Doug. Jordan suggests it could have been an animal attack, but Nick loses it. What kind of animal does this? No one has answers. Rebecca suggests taking a shortcut to the nearest ranger station, but Josh refuses to leave without finding Doug. To make things worse, Rebecca forgot the map. Now they're completely lost. Then, through the trees, they see a strange glow in the distance. Hoping it's Doug, they move toward the light, but what they find freezes them. The same mysterious staircase Jesse found 20 years ago. The structure looks eerily out of place and is now surrounded by glowing lights, though there's no electricity around. It feels unnatural. Josh, ignoring Nick's warnings, climbs the stairs. On the way down, he spots a red door hidden beside the steps. It had been out of view. It looks just like the one Jesse and Jean went through before vanishing. Ignoring Nick, he walks toward it. Faint voices echo from the other side of the door, and he's sure Doug is there. Determined to help, he forces it open and steps in, but immediately slips and falls down a hidden shaft, badly injuring his leg. Nick climbs after him to help. They find themselves inside a vast underground facility buried below the forest. The place is ancient, ruined, and full of strange hallways. Above, Rebecca and Jordan yell at them to come back, but they're already too deep inside. As Josh and Nick explore the eerie underground, they hear a faint cry. Following the sound, they find a child hiding in a corner, terrified. To their shock, it's Jesse, the same boy who vanished 2 decades ago. But something's wrong. He hasn't aged a single day. Jesse warns them, "You need to get out. If you stay too long, you can't leave. This place shifts the exits. He's been trapped all this time, and the creature that took him is still hunting him." Josh and Nick don't fully understand, but they know they need to get Jesse out. The three head deeper into the labyrinth of tunnels, searching for a way out. Suddenly, Jesse stops. He sees something in the shadows. A hideous creature appears. It's the same one that took Doug, massive, deformed, and fast. The group runs. Somehow they find their way back near the red door. Josh tries to reassure the others that it's gone, but just as he finishes speaking, the creature ambushes him from behind and kills him brutally. Nick watches helplessly as his brother dies. He can't do anything. Crushed by grief, Nick barely manages to escape with Jesse through the red door. Rebecca and Jordan are waiting, stunned and horrified by what they've just seen. But there's no time to mourn. The monster is still chasing them. As they run through the forest, Nick accidentally falls into a pit full of rotting human corpses. Among them is Doug, confirming their worst fears. This forest has claimed many lives. Running blindly, the survivors finally spot an old trailer. It looks abandoned, but it's unlocked. They rush inside, hoping for shelter. But just as Rebecca reaches the door, the creature grabs her and kills her in front of the others. Nick slams the trailer door shut just in time, locking himself inside with Jesse and Jordan. The monster hasn't left. It circles outside. Nick is broken and furious. He's lost Josh, Doug, and now Rebecca. Sitting on the trailer floor, he breaks down and says, "I couldn't save my brother. He was always there for me. And I just ran." Jordan tries to comfort him. "This wasn't your fault, but you can still save us." Just then, Jesse, who's been quiet, starts to speak. He reveals something terrifying. The creature never stops. It always hunts. Once it catches your scent, it won't quit until it feeds. It hunts for its offspring. As Nick tries to understand how Jesse survived 20 years without aging, he finally asks, "How did you manage to stay alive all this time?" Jesse is about to answer, but before he can say a word, the entire trailer begins to shake. Then the monster moves away, and everything falls silent. The three survivors sit quietly inside the trailer, catching their breath. In that calm moment, Jesse finally tells Nick his name. Nick freezes. The name sounds far too familiar. His mind drifts back to childhood. He looks at Jesse, confused, and suddenly realizes, wait, Jesse. Jesse, the boy who vanished 20 years ago. He remembers now. Jesse wasn't just some name in the news. He was a classmate, a kid who vanished without a trace when they were both children. Hearing all this, Nick struggles to believe it. He's now an adult, but Jesse hasn't aged a single day. He still looks exactly like the boy who disappeared 20 years ago. Jesse finally explains that when he was pulled through the red door, it felt like stepping into another dimension. It wasn't just another place. It operated on different rules. Time, space. Everything felt wrong. He says they found exits several times, but none led outside. Each time they tried to escape, the creature was waiting, as if it could sense their movements. Even worse, the red door itself kept changing locations, so they could never find it again. Jesse says it felt like time slowed down for him, or maybe stopped entirely. He may have experienced time distortion, or even time travel. It's hard to believe, but nothing in this story is easy to explain, and the movie gives very few answers. A while later, Jordan notices something. Suddenly, it's silent outside. The forest is still. She thinks maybe the creature is finally gone. She tells Nick they should check, but he tries to stop her. "We can't stay here forever." Jordan says, "We'll have to move eventually." She searches the driver's cabin and finds a rifle with a few bullets. It's not much, but it's something. Nick and Jordan head outside together while Jesse stays inside, banging metal utensils to draw the creature's attention toward him. As soon as the monster hears the noise, it turns toward the sound. Jordan raises the rifle, but it jams. She struggles with it and finally manages one shot. The bullet hits the creature, but it has no effect. In a brutal motion, the monster slams into Jordan, badly injuring her. Nick drags her back into the trailer and slams the door shut, locking it before the creature can follow. Now, full of rage, Nick has reached his limit. He's lost Josh, Doug, Rebecca, and now Jordan may die too. He decides to end this once and for all. He grabs a gas can and a lighter, then turns to Jesse and says, "As soon as I go out, shut the door. Don't wait for me." Nick runs outside and throws the gas can into the clearing. Just as he hoped, the creature follows. As it draws near, Nick tosses the lit lighter. A fireball erupts. The monster is engulfed in flames, howling in pain as it flees into the woods. It's unclear if it dies, but it's finally gone. Nick looks around and sees something surreal. The mysterious staircase is also burning, as if tied to the creature's fate. At that moment, Jesse walks up to him and softly says, "I want to go home now." As morning light filters through the trees, we see rescue teams arrive in the forest. Police and paramedics find Nick and Jesse alive and take them to safety. Officers are stunned when they confirm Jesse's identity. It's the same boy who vanished 20 years ago, and he hasn't aged a single day. Later, Jesse's grandmother and mom arrive. When they see Jesse, they're overwhelmed. Tears flow. Time has changed everything, but Jesse looks exactly as he did the day he disappeared. Jesse silently apologizes to his mother. He tells her the truth. When he was dragged through the red door, his grandfather Gene was taken too. They were both trapped in that dimension. But sadly, Gene didn't survive. After a full police investigation and questioning, Nick is cleared and released. In the film's final moments, we see Nick and Jesse sitting together, slowly beginning to recover physically and emotionally from all they've endured. The screen fades to black. The movie intentionally leaves many questions unanswered. This is a deliberate choice rooted in cosmic horror and existential mystery, where the unknown is scarier than the known. This allows viewers to form their own theories. Maybe the staircase is a portal to another dimension where time flows differently, and the creature is a guardian or a predator of that realm. It could also be the result of a failed government experiment, as suggested by the hidden underground facility. The shifting exits hint at a dimensional trap. The film leans toward cosmic horror, where fear doesn't come from what you know, but from what you'll never fully understand.